Welcome back, everyone, to the Even Your Dynasty show. We are joined today with a very special guest. Zander Darby is here with us. Thank you, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. For those of you that are unaware, Zander was one of the Giants draft picks in the most recent draft, 2024 draft. He is also a local prospect, hometown kid from Palo Alto. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And did you grew up a Giants fan?
I did. Yeah. The funny thing was my dad was born in Boston and kind of grew up as a Red Sox fan. Then he moved out to California before he had kids and converted to a Giants fan. So definitely grew up a Giants fan with some Red Sox roots.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I enjoyed watching the Red Sox in the early 2000s. I mean, that was back in the era of it was like anybody but the Yankees. And they had some good battles down there or over there in the early 2000s that were fun to watch. So I totally get that, but I mean, I always Giants for me for sure. So yeah. So everyone in the chat, if you guys have any questions as you guys are coming in here, just so you know, if you guys have questions that you want us to ask Zander, definitely throw them in there. We'll be like starring stuff and flagging them for us to ask later. I know we have kind of the stuff we want to ask. If there's some stuff that's, kind of relevant to whatever topic we're on at the time, we'll try and pull them in, but we'll definitely try and pull as many of those as we can today. So definitely fire away if you got anything. So, yeah. So the first question I've got is, just kind of how the draft process go and what's it kind of mean to you that you got to get drafted by your hometown team?
Yeah. So to start off, I mean, it was a whirlwind. It was a roller coaster. I'm sure many other draft guys can say the same. For me in particular, I won't get into the details, but there were it was kind of a high stress situation, whether I was going day 2 or day 3, and I had to make some decisions. And long story short, I decided to go with the Giants deal and day 3, and yeah, I mean that was the best decision I've ever made. I've been so happy so far, and like you said, I was born and raised a Giants fan, and it's a dream come true to represent the SF. So it's been amazing so far.
That's awesome. Did you ever have, because you had one more year of college eligibility,
I did,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Were you kind of on the fence? Like some guys have said, like, if it was a certain number or anything like that,
Yeah.
were you kind of on the fence, or was
Well,
it pretty easy?
so the draft, I mean, is all about leverage, and obviously, I had another year at Santa Barbara, and I absolutely love the place and love the program, and I have a lot of respect for the coaching staff and teammates. I definitely did. I was ready for professional baseball, and I might have, as a draft prospect, that's not something necessarily want to tell the scouts because you're kind of giving away your leverage. So you kind of have to say that. But deep down, I was ready to play pro ball and be on that ride to the major leagues. I was ready. I was ready for it.
Nice.
Now, at any point during your junior season, did you feel like the Giants were a pretty likely landing spot for you, or did it kind of throw you off when they came and selected you in the 12th round?
Yeah, so I mean, all the teams kind of throw themselves at you a little bit. And in the scout meetings before the college season, I had the area scout. He's the best, but basically he watched me in high school, and I had no idea. His name is Michael Kendall, and so we had talked for the first time in person. He was like, "Yeah, I've been following you since high school," and I was so surprising. I was like, and he was such a nice guy, and honestly, I didn't like have any feelings like, oh, okay, like the Giants, like this guy really likes me, because you never really know, and every scout is so different, and they'll tell you like they treat the meetings really differently, but they'll basically say like, yeah, we really love you, or like, here's you need to work on. So you kind of don't really know. But I did already have like developed a relationship with the area scout, And he was very upfront with me, like, hey, we would like, it'd be really exciting to get you. But I kind of put that away because you got to focus on the season. So looking back on it, like it was definitely a sign, but I kind of couldn't think twice about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, going off of what you're just saying, was there anything in particular that he mentioned to you about your swing that he wanted to see you work on throughout your junior season?
I would say as a scout, he was more of he's kind of more hands off. And he just appreciated like watching me develop as a player. That was kind of part of the meeting. And as a player, like there's so many different opinions and perspectives. So it's kind of nice to hear that. Because it's really, I mean, like I said, like you have other coaches and whatnot. So like I wouldn't say he helped me in any way like develop as a player. It was just kind of he showed me some support. That was encouraging and gave me a little bit of confidence.
Nice. So go ahead, Ricky.
No, I was just gonna say that's super cool, especially coming from your hometown team. Now, has there been anything just in your short stint with San Jose last year that they talked to you about with your swing?
Yeah, actually, after I got drafted, I spent a lot of time at the Arizona complex in Papago before I got sent to San Jose. And I made a really big adjustment from college to pro ball, and that was with the help with our hitting coordinator. We just call him Mac. I don't even know his full name. I really like him. He's very technical, and I can kind of understand him a lot better than some other players. Like, and we just have like a way of communicating. But basically, long story short, I got a lot wider. He told me that they did a study on lefty hitters and righty throwers, and basically, because you're a righty thrower, your right leg's a lot more dominant. And because of that, as a lefty hitter, your rear leg is the most important leg, is your left leg, and it's weaker, obviously. And so when you have a narrow stance with a high leg kick, you can't control that as well. And so it kind of simplified things for me, just getting a little wider. And then my swing had always been there. It's just kind of the setup. And I think from fans and the outside view, like your swing doesn't change much. It's kind of just like how you get to your position. And so that helped me get into my position, my good hitting position, consistently.
Nice. Do you think that contributed to like some of the added power when you got to San Jose? Because you look at the numbers in college and everything, and I mean you kind of blew that away in a very small sample size in San Francisco. I think you hit 5 in
I don't know how many games it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like 50 at bats around, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I think things started to click for me a little bit. I always knew I had that power in me. I consider myself like a strong and powerful player. In Santa Barbara, just didn't show up as much, and I knew it was always there, and I would flash it. But I think with this new stance, it's not new anymore, and kind of I've grown a lot as a player in the process. That's kind of allowed myself to show off that power a little bit more.
Nice. Was there anything in that, because like you said, it was only 50 or so games. It's a very small kind of a whirlwind when you go college to draft to the complex to full season ball at the end. Was there anything you kind of learned in that short stint while you were there?
Absolutely. I mean, there were a lot of takeaways. It was honestly even though it was such a short stint, like I immediately hit the off season and can take what I'd learned. First off, I really struggle with righty sliders. If they throw me back foot righty sliders, I had a really tough time getting to them, and I didn't really understand why. In this off season, I really honed in on that and kind of dialed in, and just I kind of learned as a hitter that you kind of figure things out not by thinking about them. So as I kept setting up difficult righty slider machines, I kind of figured out a way for my body kind of clicked. And so I have that just kind of logged in my brain. I can't even explain it to you guys. And I'm not going to try to, but
yeah,
I found a lot more success on those variety sliders. That's one thing that I feel like I've grown on than that I didn't have 6 months ago.
Nice.
Yeah, that study you said that they told you about lefty hitting. That's super interesting. I actually hadn't heard that yet, and um, Jeremiah is obviously somebody we interviewed recently that we're talking to you about, and that's kind of funny because he's kind of a tall lefty that has a little bit more of a more upright stance and doesn't have a very wide base. So that's kind of interesting to hear. I'm
Yeah.
curious now to see if that's something that we start seeing with some of these other guys that came in last year, like you.
Yeah, and like I said, it's mainly for those guys who throw right. Since Jenkins he's lefty, I think. That
Yeah,
left
he
leg
is.
is probably more dominant, so it may not be an issue for him. And like, I mean, every hitter's so different. But I did think the study was kind of based on the big league hitters, and they kind of used that as their samples. But it'll be interesting to see. Every org's different. They teach different things, but it's definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah, I like it. That's cool. I like when we get the technical answers like that. Is there any players that you kind of modeled your game after?
Yes, I will definitely say so. Jock Peterson went to my high school, so I'd always watched him. And I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's definitely evolved as a player. He was this twitchy outfielder as he came up, and now he's developed into like a DH power hit guy. So I wouldn't say model my defense. I've always really liked his swing. There are a couple prospects out there that I really like to watch. Tyler Black's one of them. I think he went to he's with the Brewers, and I think he's on the cusp of being in the bigs. I forget what, I think he went to Wright State. I really like watching him. And then, yeah, I mean, it kind of just depends. I love watching Chapman and Arenado highlights at third, and I know I've played second too, but I can kind of play anywhere. But honestly, I wouldn't say there's one guy.
Yeah. Is the team have you kind of moving around, or are they having you kind of focus more on one position right now?
It's interesting because I think it depends on where you're at, team wise, and what they need. And for me, as long as I can be more versatile, the better. There's no downside to that. Who knows? I might even play outfield. But yeah, the more positions I can play, the better. I grew up playing shortstop, played second base as a freshman in college, and then played third and first. And I'd probably say I'm most confident at third, but I can handle second really well. And first is just, I mean, that's basically not, it's not this, it's a whole different world. It's not nearly as challenging. But yeah, I pride myself on playing everywhere.
Nice.
For sure. And then have they told you anything in particular though? I mean, obviously, like you said, you feel pretty comfortable all around the diamond, but have they told you that they kind of want you to work, primarily at third base, or have they told you to kind of prepare for all scenarios?
They haven't been super direct with me on that. But I really think after I got drafted, they really had me working everywhere. And they know that too, that I'm eventually going to be, there's not one position yet for me that they're really going to set me at, because, the teams change so much. You go up and down, there's different guys everywhere. So I think they probably think the same thing about staying versatile.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, yeah, we see a lot of the guys that are coming up right now, guys like Tyler Fitzgerald and Casey Schmidt, that they have them kind of playing all over. So
yeah,
it's definitely kind of opens opportunities at that point. So I guess we'll kind of talk about a little bit how your off season's gone. I know you did get to go to San Francisco for all the prospects or a lot of them. You guys got together. How was that experience?
That was incredible. I would say, as a homegrown kid, I've been in those seats so many times. And just, I think the biggest thing for me, there was two. One, hearing Hunter Pence talk. It was incredible. And then the other thing was just literally seeing what it's like to be a big leaguer, being in the clubhouse, hitting on the fields, lifting in the weight room. It's just motivating, and I'll have those images in my head, and I can think about that before I go to bed and wake up every morning. Like that's what I'm achieving right here. And so there were only like 15, or I don't even remember, like it wasn't that big of a group. But they did a really great job. We ran across the Golden Gate Bridge, and for a lot of those guys, it was the first time to San Francisco and seeing the bridge. So it was funny and cool to witness, because it is such an amazing place. For me, it's second nature.
Yeah. You kind of go numb to it sometimes. And then,
yeah. And no, it was good to have like, yeah, this place is really, really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Anybody there that, I feel like I see you guys all on Instagram, and like you constantly, everyone's like commenting on everyone else's stuff. And it's like a lot of the people are from that group, it's pretty easy to see. So it seems like you guys kind of all bonded on that. Was there anyone in particular, other than Jeremiah, since he was already your roommate anyway, but anyone in particular that you felt pretty close to after?
I really got to connect a lot more with Lisbel Diaz and Arias and Strickland. And for me, I was a lot of new faces, because that was the first camp I'd ever been to. And the only other faces I knew were my draft class in San Jose. But those were some guys, and Trent Harris as well. Those were some guys that I got a lot more familiar with, got to hang out with them. Obviously, Jenkins. But yeah, it's really cool to just get closer with these guys and get to know them better before the season starts up again.
Nice.
Who would you say was the funniest out of that group?
Good question. I gotta go Jenkins. He's just I love him. He's a silly, lighthearted dude. He'll always make me smile. He's always smiling as well. Always lightens up the room. It's great.
That's funny.
I had a feeling that would be your answer.
Yeah. He was an absolute riot on here. Funny dude.
Sure.
Now, one other question while you're at Oracle for that camp, was that your first time getting to hit in that park, or did you have any time hitting there as a high schooler or even in college?
Yeah, so I wasn't that big of a prospect in high school, and even in college, I was kind of under the radar till the Cape. And so I hadn't really had any opportunities to go to workouts, and basically until a couple months leading up until the draft my junior year. So no, that was my first time. And it was amazing. I was I didn't take it serious in a way that like I was trying to work on things. I was like, all right, I'm putting the ball in the cove. This is my mission. This is my opportunity. Let's get it done right now. And then now that it did happen, I got confirmation. So now we got that out the way. We can next time I hit BP there, it'll be, we're getting our work in.
Yeah. I feel like everybody on that video, it was like the first thing. I think Jenkins even said it. It's like, I got put, and it's like first swing they showed. He's like, that's one.
Yeah. You have to. Yeah. You have to. It's too enticing.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, so how do you think your game overall, this is from Dan, who's usually on the show. He always asks us, he goes, how do you think your game will translate to that park?
Well, so obviously my power is increasing, and we all know that it's not really a power hitter's park unless you're Barry Bonds. It's definitely hard to get it out when that fog rolls in. But honestly, like peppering that brick wall, I mean, that hitting, as Barry used to say, you got to hit through the wall. Like that, the bricks are so high, like just hit through it and you'll be fine. So obviously that, and at Santa Barbara, they really preach like a really solid defense and knowing all the details and learning how to run the bases the right way, like every time. So I definitely have that ingrained with me, and I'll play the game the right way, treat the game with respect, and to do all the little things right. I mean, that's what it takes to win games.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, we watched the Giants win 3 World Series, and I mean, they never. I think in all those years, they never had a guy in their World Series years. I don't think they ever had a guy clear 24 homers. So
Yeah.
you know,
You don't need to. Yeah. You just,
No.
yeah. The pieces got to come together. That's all that matters.
exactly. So nice.
Now, going back to you mentioned the Cape Cod League. What was your experience like over there hitting with wood bat and kind of it looked like you put up great numbers out there. Did you feel super comfortable doing that? And how much of an impact do you feel like that had on increasing your draft stock?
Yeah. So I'd played summer ball in other leagues before, so I'd been comfortable with the wood bat. I didn't really understand that, for some guys it doesn't translate. For me, I didn't even think twice about that. And I guess maybe because it had more power than other guys, I'm not totally sure about that. But my Cape experience was amazing. I grew up going to the Cape, watching the games as a little kid because my dad's from Boston. So for me, it was a dream come true. When I got the text that I was going to the Cape, immediately texting my family, was incredibly happy. It really was a dream come true. So when I got there, it was like I got to play free. I just got to enjoy it. I would imagine myself like when I went to go play Brewster, that's where we always stayed. I could see myself as a little kid going to get the fly balls. The foul balls. I didn't even care about the game. I just wanted the ball. But absolutely, I solidified myself as a player there, because the Big West Conference obviously isn't a Power 5 conference, so you kind of need to make a name for yourself somewhere else, unless you're really, really standout player. And for me, I was a good player, but the Cape really helped elevate me and bring some attention to the scouts. And they actually told me that they had never heard my name before, and then they came and watched me in the Cape, oh, we gotta keep this guy on our radar. So it helped a lot. It really solidified me, and it gave me a lot of confidence because I knew I could hang with the big dogs.
Nice. We had someone, Drew. He asked if you felt like the time in the Cape Cod League or in Santa Barbara, like what kind of you felt prepared you more for pro ball.
That's a really, there's pieces from both. I think as a baseball player, it became really well rounded from Santa Barbara. Like I said, the defense, the base running, I think they do it. I mean, I think they're one of the best programs in the country, coaching wise at least, and they produce really great ball players from not as much talent as some other schools. So there's that, and then I kind of figured out naturally how to hit good pitching, better pitching than Big West. So that helped me a lot out as well. And then after the Cape, I was like, all right, I can hit anyone. Like the Big West, it's not the same.
Nice.
Now, I believe Jacob Christian told us he played with you in the Cape. Is that true?
Yeah. We met.
And then did you play with any other current Giants prospects out there in the Cape
I know a bunch,
that you
actually.
remember?
There's a bunch that played for that team, but I think in years prior, none that I can remember of the Giants, I don't think got picked up besides JC. Everyone else, I mean, there were a lot of draft picks on that team. But yeah, I think it was just us two to the Giants.
Okay. Have you faced any, former teammates or anybody since you've been in San Francisco? Well, I mean, it could be on your team, but it sounds like you mentioned.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think of in San Jose. I definitely faced an Oregon pitcher that I had played against. I didn't know him, but I'm trying to think. There are some position players that I know I played against. But the thing is, the issue was most of the pitchers, at least the Giants did this, they kept them in after the draft. Just they didn't want to risk an injury. So most of the pitchers actually, the new draft pitchers didn't pitch. I can't remember, honestly. I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, usually pitchers you only see, I mean, I think most of them, they maybe will throw 9 innings total after they get drafted. That's usually pretty minimal.
Yeah.
So
it's smart.
Yeah. See what else. So who is, I mean, I'm just kind of running through what I got here. Who is your favorite Giant growing up?
So that's a hard answer. My dad's hero was Buster, and obviously I love Buster, still do. My favorite to watch, honestly, I gotta say Pablo Sandoval. I mean the panda, right? I mean he's one of a kind. He did it all. I was young when I went to those games, but I think he was the most fun for me to watch because he's doing all these crazy athletic plays, blowing bubbles, making diving plays. I mean, he still is. I mean, he's awesome. There's pictures of him on our wall at Papago, and it's amazing. Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, I remember the him avoiding the slide, and that's when Zito gave him the nickname, and it was just a big guy that never thought would be the athlete that he was. And they had a lot of really fun characters.
Well. Yeah, he moves so well.
It's like Hunter Pence, for instance. Like you would never teach anybody to do anything mechanically like he did, but he was somehow like really good at like everything.
Yeah, it is nuts. Yeah, it's impressive.
A lot of fun.
One of my favorite clips from those teams was watching Timmy up on stage imitating Hunter Pence's swing, and then him going back and imitating Timmy's pitching mechanics.
Oh, I need to see this.
Hilarious.
I think that was at one of the
somewhere. I'll find that for you.
Yeah. Send it to me. We'll send it over to you. It's a riot.
Yeah,
but
it's hilarious.
Yeah. What other sports did you play growing up, or was it just kind of?
This is a crazy answer you probably will never hear again. I played water polo in high school. I played water polo for 4 years. Obviously, COVID got in the way, so there was a bit of a break. And then basketball as well. I played for the first 2 years and stopped because it was kind of interfering with preseason baseball. But I loved basketball. And then I did I did like swim team, soccer, and up until high school. My parents just really wanted to be a well-rounded athlete, and I'm so thankful they decided to do that because I think it really helped me out. Just being able to take a break from baseball, 1, and 2, learning how to play other sports and taking your mind up. Like I didn't get serious about baseball till I started getting offers sophomore and junior year of high school. And then by then it was kind of a surprise to me that I was going to play in college. And then after that, I was like, okay, I want to get drafted. And I mean, after the Cape, it wasn't a surprise, but like, I really wasn't serious about baseball when I was really young.
Dang. What was the recruiting process like going to Santa Barbara? Were there a bunch of schools interested?
Yeah, there were a lot, and most of them were West Coast based. If you play well in travel ball tournaments, and we would come out to Arizona and play. I mean, that's where all the college scouts were, and so there was a lot of interest. My mom's a teacher, and my family really values education, so that kind of limited some of the options that I had. And my first official visit was Santa Barbara, and I went on the visit with my buddy Aaron Parker's from Los Altos, and he's with the Blue Jays now. And we were both like, dude, we got to go here. Like, this is incredible. And the program was fantastic, and it's such a beautiful place. Like, I could just see myself there right on the spot. And so I didn't take another visit after that. We both decided like we're going here. So great decision.
Yeah. It sounds like it worked out really well. So
yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Now, back when you were at Palo Alto High School, did you get the opportunity to meet, you said, Jock went there, Devontae Adams went there. Did you ever get to meet any of those guys, like coming back there at any point after becoming pro?
I haven't actually. I have a couple former high school teammates that are now professional baseball players, and I think they have. I know one is hit with Jock, but yeah, they come around here and there. I remember Devontae Adams gave our football team everyone a pair of Jordan cleats, which was really cool. Their memorabilia is up everywhere. We had Jeremy Lin too, and a couple other Olympians. Yeah, I haven't.
That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It would be honestly a super funny conversation if you did get the chance to meet Devontae, because I know I was shocked seeing that Jock was actually the number one there over Devontae. That would be hilarious to mess with him about.
No. It is crazy. I mean, that just shows you how good of an athlete Jock is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure they won the state championship.
Jock is he did have one of the funnier moments in recent years when I think he beat out like a grounder or something like that, and he's like standing on first, and you can see him mouth like, "I'm so fast." And he was not fast going down the line on that play. But,
I did not see that. That's good. That's really good.
He's a character, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Did you have so we have another kind of friend of the show, her name's Alexis. She asked what your hobbies are away from the game.
That's a good question. In high school, I would definitely say spike ball. Are you guys familiar with that game?
I have seen it, but I have never even attempted to play it.
No, it was fun. It was basically how my high school friend group got formed. We would play all the time. I actually think it helped a lot with athleticism. So I did that, and then at Santa Barbara, I surfed here and there because we're literally on the water, and got kind of into cooking a lot. Like even now, like since I have a lot of downtime, I really enjoy cooking and a little bit of baking here and there, but there's not too much downtime, especially in college, because I studied statistics and data science, and so that was a grind as well. And then you're also living with all the other teammates. But the last hobby I will say is we love Super Smash Bros. on the Nintendo Switch and the Wii. That game's amazing. All the reasons play it.
I remember playing. I'm gonna age myself a little bit here. I remember playing that on the GameCube.
There you go. We have a GameCube controller.
Yeah. Man. Ricky, do you have anything else? I'm gonna start pulling some chats up here for him.
Yeah, just one question. Down in your time in San Jose last year, how similar did you feel like the level of pitching was there compared to your time at Santa Barbara?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. A-ball is interesting because there's a lot of talent, but it's not a lot of polished talent. I will say that in college, like in college it's like the strike zone's a little bit bigger, so they'll just pound fastballs low and away that are kind of a couple balls off. So you kind of got to get used to that. And then the off speeds, like it's not that powerful. It's not that overwhelming. It's kind of just there to throw you off. And then I will say an A-ball, like everything's a lot harder. So like the fastball is firmer. There's obviously you have two seam and rise guys, so those balls are going to move more and come at you harder. And then like what I was saying earlier is that the slider had a challenge with, because I think they were probably like they were upper 8s or low 9 sliders, so that was kind of new to me, and took some adjusting. But then again, they threw a lot of balls too, so you had your walks. And you didn't have to earn like every pitch per se. Like some guys just lack the control that the college players don't have, because if you don't have control in college, you're not playing. So there's that too.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was like asking that one just because, we've talked to Jeremiah, Charlie Zacconi, Jacob Christian, and all you guys have had kind of similar answers on that one as far as the level of competition in San Jose, but you guys all kind of come back to that, just a little bit of a lack of polish and kind of some similarities to college ball for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice. Let's see. Dan also asked, do you have any kind of goals for this upcoming season?
I definitely don't have any number goals, I would say, that I've kind of written out. Ultimately, I just want to become the best player I can be. But obviously, like I want to dominate at every level. So like I'm not there yet, but like when I'm in season, like I want to be where my feet are and not worry about, where I am or what other guys are doing. So there's that. But I definitely want to dominate and compete to the highest level, and then ultimately hopefully get rewarded one step at a time. I definitely want to get a little bit more aggressive on the base pass, and hopefully I get some freedom doing that. But yeah, keep the strikeouts down, keep the good contact up, dominate.
Yeah. Let me see. We had one person, Ziggy here, asked, "What do you think your best ability is with the game?"
I don't know if I could pick one. I would say my versatility as a hitter and as a player. As a defender, I can, play multiple positions, and as a hitter, I can be a power threat. I can also be someone that is a really big situational threat. Like, I pride myself on situational hitting because of how I got taught at Santa Barbara. So there's that aspect to the game that not many people really see, and I can get a bunt down, and you'd be surprised. I can do all those little things.
I can tell you right now that's music to our ears, because the big league team has really struggled with situational hitting the last few years. And I think this regime with Buster and Randy Wynn taking back over really want to get back to those things. So I know we definitely, as fans, appreciate that a ton.
Yeah. I'll kind of piggyback off that. I know, obviously you were drafted by the old regime, although there are a lot of carryovers from that with Manassian and Posey taking a bigger role. And now Randy Wynn is obviously there. Have you felt any kind of shift in the emphasis there, or?
Yeah, I have. It's still baseball, so it's not going to be life-changing. But there's definitely the old school roots are coming back, and I feel like I can't tell, but I think it's kind of trending across the league a little bit. There is data, and that's awesome, but I think it's really coming back to how can you produce, just simplify things a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I really appreciate. I did study statistics, so I do like numbers a little bit. But it is also just a game, and you got to win games, and you got to score runs, and you got to play good defense. So there's all those things that I care about and our organization cares about, which is great.
Yeah. I do feel like you said, the league is almost trending back towards the middle. Like, it was very extreme on the old school, and then it felt like it went to the extreme on the other side, and now it feels like, I know a lot of people were worried with the Giants that they were going to go way back the other way, but I mean, they seem to have been, bringing in a lot of those more analytics minded people, and it feels like they're going to be really balanced, which is kind of what we've all been begging for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was such a big rush because all this stuff was so new, and everyone kind of hopped on that trend, and we're learning from our mistakes a little bit that you can't just throw away what you've been doing for hundreds of years. So
yeah, great. Let's see. Joaquin asks. He asks this to everybody, and I'll have a good story for you on one of the people that answered this. But what are do you have any superstitions? And he adds that you can say out loud.
Yeah, no, that's good. I wouldn't necessarily say superstition. There's a fine line between superstition and routine. Before every game, I've been doing this for a really long time, since high school. I'll do some sort of like short meditation, and then I'll get right after that. Like, it's time to lock in. So then I'll get whatever music going that'll get me ramped up. But like, I don't wear the same pair of socks. I definitely have many teammates who do some crazy things. But yeah, I definitely like try to stay away from the superstitions. But yeah, I mean, now that question just jogging my brain of what I've seen across. It's just crazy. But I don't sleep with my bats. I don't kiss my bats. I don't do any of that, unfortunately. Kind of boring.
You don't bust Jobu out. And yeah, so what was it, Charlie that said he changes the gum if he gets out or something like
That
that.
was Charlie, but I think it was Jacob that gave the little bit nastier one.
Well,
He did something
Casey
similar.
Schmidt told us.
No, it was Casey. It was Casey, not Jacob. My bad.
Casey said that if he's on a hit streak, he doesn't wash his jock.
Oh no!
So he's like, I'm like, if you guys ever see Casey Schmidt on like a 12-game hit streak, you might want to just stay on the other side of the dugout.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Is there any? Because I wrote this down as well, but was there any teammates that kind of just really stood out? Not to like throw anyone under the bus. I'm sure you were impressed by a lot of players, but was there anybody in particular that like really just kind of stood out to you when you were?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say Bostic. He pitched in San Jose when I was there. He had an incredible game. I mean, no one could touch his fastball. For me, it was really nice to see. Jordan Hicks also made a rehab start, so that was cool. Yeah, you look left and right, and it's like, oh, this guy's great. This guy's great. Never seen this before. I was watching Maui Ahuna Field. I was like, wow, I've never seen this before. Like, this is, it's just everyone's such a unique player, and they're great at different things. So you really do see new things every day. That's
awesome. Yeah, I know Maui is very highly regarded with the glove.
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know Ricky was propping up Josh there like a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And that
his stuff's
the fastball is exactly what I was mentioning. So he's one of those.
He's got good things out of him.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully you guys will be up in Eugene together at some point this season.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. I'm currently up in the Pacific Northwest, so
okay.
I'm up in the Seattle area, so especially whenever you're up in Eugene, I'll be making the trek at one of the you guys play in Everett, or Eugene plays in Everett, so that's not too bad for me, but I'm like, I'll definitely make the trek, see some of you guys play.
Sweet.
Yeah. Couple others here. Just so you guys know, if you're in the chat, definitely make sure you throw some comments in there. We had like 100 people in here a minute ago. So if you guys have anything that you want to ask Zander, make sure you throw it in there. Ziggy asked just what was like walking into the clubhouse after getting drafted.
So it wasn't really like what you expect, because the draft happens during the season. So majority of the organization is out playing. So when we got drafted, we all signed at Papago, like our minor league facility in Arizona, and it was basically a clubhouse just with the draft guys. So we got to know each other really well, and we spent a lot of time, getting kind of back to playing speed. There was also the Arizona league going on as well, so there was a bunch of international players there. And so we eventually merged with them, which was also a great experience. But most of it was just spending time with the draft class.
Nice.
Now you were telling us you're already down in Arizona, and you're going to be rooming with a couple guys. Who are you going to be working out with and hanging out with down there as you guys start spring?
My roommates are Rob Hipwell and Greg Ferroni, both draft class guys. They're basically, I live with anyone in my draft class. Like, gotten to know everyone really well. I will say Rob is another Bay Area guy, and so he went to Santa Clara, so we connected a little bit. We were road roommates at San Jose. And then, funny enough, we would just play cards all the time with the draft class to kill some time. So Greg was one of those guys, so we kind of got together. But we carpool here and there to the field. But once you're at the field, everyone's there, so you're saying hi to all these guys, and it's a fun time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, didn't Rob play in a game, like, I swear to God, it was like a week after he got drafted?
Yeah, because he's been playing summer ball, and I didn't put that. We couldn't put that. We put that together after he left. Like, what? This guy, like, he's just got here. What's going on?
Yeah.
So we've been in San Jose, and actually he doesn't know the draft class as well as I do, because it was basically just him that had left.
Okay. Yeah, it was just funny because I remember they ran through the draft and like he hits like a home run like a week later, and I'm like, wait, didn't this guy just get drafted? Like, what the heck? I'm like, he probably just walked over to the stadium right after he got drafted.
Yeah, literally. He played there in college against San Jose State.
Yeah, that's awesome. Couple people had some questions regarding your high school. Cole asked, I guess he attends Los Gatos right now. And how did your high school experience help prepare you for everything, and what changes you made?
So high school baseball, for me and the coaching staff that I had, it was basically pretty much just like one, getting a lot of confidence, because that's when I got to separate myself, and two, like I just learned how to work really hard, and my coaching staff they didn't let you get away with everything. They really they made you work, and we all loved it. And I had actually most of my high school teammates I'd been playing with my whole life, and so we got really close. But yeah, I mean the jump from high school to professional baseball, at least for me, is like a really big jump. And so like at the time I was just developing day by day, and eventually that got me ready for college. But like I would say the biggest thing about high school baseball is like really just you're enjoying your time out there. And, I still enjoy my time like more than ever when I'm playing right now. But yeah, you are playing with the people you live in the same city, you grew up, you guys have to share the same experiences. So there's that aspect. And it's way different because there's guys all over the country and world that I'm playing with right now. But all of it to me is just so much fun.
Nice. And then Joaquin asks us, I'm guessing this might be, you maybe competed with them in the Cape Cod?
No, so they went to Cal Poly. They were all rivals.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. So they were teammates, and I was a freshman at the time during their draft year. And I played like kind of half the year, and that was the one series that I didn't play. Or one of the series, excuse me. But yeah, they're really great players, and it's amazing to see them doing so well. Because they're both in the big leagues now, and it really hasn't been that much time since their draft, and so it's great to see Big West players. I think they have another pitcher who's a little bit older. I forget his name, but I think he's a starter. But yeah, it's really cool to see that.
That is, yeah. That is one of those. That's one of the awesome things to me about baseball is it's not just, everyone coming out of a Power 5 school or anything like that. Like everybody has so many different paths to making it to the majors.
Yeah. There really are a lot of different paths, and you can appreciate that. Like when you hear like the 8-year or 10-year story, or the guy quit and then came back, or he was working a desk job, and you see that all the time, and it's incredible.
Yeah, you actually, a guy similar kind of, maybe not to the extreme, but that kind of quit, sort of stepped away from the game and then ended up coming back, was Bo Davidson. So you got to play with him a little bit, right?
I did, yeah. I actually just found that out literally like this past week that he had quit. That had shocked me because he's an amazing player. He was hurt for like a majority of the time that I was playing in San Jose. I mean, I wasn't there that long. But yeah, he's a really talented player. And when I heard that story, I was like, wow, like what would have happened like if he didn't give it a shot? Like I think like one of his friends convinced him to come back. Like it's incredible to realize like how far he's come.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's one of those guys that I watch like the speed and power and everything, and I'm like, how in the heck did nobody see this?
Yeah.
Well, some of these guys, they show up in like pro ball, and I mean, maybe they're just better when they get there, but it's crazy. Like you see them and you're like, this is a guy that went undrafted. How did everyone miss that?
It's possible, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the scouts aren't perfect, and there really
Sure.
are a lot of cases. There's a lot of pitchers, especially out in indie ball, that we pick up. Like, where have you been? Like,
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's see what we got. What else?
Now, I have a random question for you.
go
So
for
you
it.
said you're a Giants fan growing up for baseball. Your dad was more of a Red Sox guy until later on when he moved to the Bay Area. Now, what about football? Is it Patriots or is it
It's
Niners or
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Because my dad, I don't know if he was that big of a Patriots fan, but when we'd go to the East Coast every year, we'd go to Fenway, and that's a magical place. So that's kind of where I got it, and I had Red Sox stuff all in my room growing up. But yeah, he wasn't the biggest of Patriots fans, so Niners fan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's good. Did you did you just like all Bay Area sports? So you're like Warriors fan?
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
who doesn't like? Yeah, it's easy.
He's a Kings fan, so
I am.
That's unfortunate, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that the Red Sox is like a little sprinkle on the side. I'm a Bay Area guy.
Okay, nice. We'll rapid fire a couple here unless I get any others. But okay. So one person asked, "Are you a Big League Chew person?"
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I think to me that's my favorite baseball gum to chew. Any flavor, and if it's laying in the dugout, and especially if I'm not playing that day, I'm taking down at least one package.
Yeah.
It's the good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Ziggy asked, "What's your favorite genre of music?"
Right now, I would say like old school rap. I don't really like new rap that much, but I'll get behind like a little bit of like 2000s rock, country. I went to Santa Barbara, so obviously I love like house music. I'm all over the place, but right now I would say old school rap.
Nice. Let's see. Any others in the chat?
Trying to see.
Cameron says, when it comes to the argument of best wing in SF, what would it be?
Pitcher?
I'm not sure.
Or
Cameron,
like
send us some clarity. He always asks about food, so I Cameron, we need some clarity here. I don't know if this is a food thing or if it's a chicken wing. Okay.
That's food.
I was like, I know it's gonna be food.
Oh boy. Oh, I don't know if I have an answer for that. I mean, I didn't grow up in the city.
Bay Area could be. I think.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I could say Wingstop, but like, I don't know where else I would go. Like B-Dubs, I think I'm into Wingstop more. I gotta expand my wing game.
Yeah. Sure. He said there's only one answer for best, so I'm sure he's gonna give you a suggestion here in a minute.
I'll hear you. I'm waiting.
Oh, that's awesome. Ricky,
and we also got, what's your next walk-up song?
Oof, I've been thinking about today actually. I did a Chris Stapleton song in San Jose, and I'd always kind of done house music. I really liked Flume. I don't have an answer yet, but right now, if I were to pick, maybe I'd throw it back to my freshman year in college where Flume, You and Me.
Okay.
Nice. Or I mean, there's a lot of options. Maybe classic rock and roll, something. I think the Eagles might have a good song for me, but we'll see.
You can't go wrong with the Eagles, man.
No, you can't.
It's awesome. Okay, so Cameron says, take your boys to Capital Restaurant in Chinatown.
Okay. Is that the wing spot or is that a separate?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
haven't been either.
I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, all right, everybody. If you guys have any questions, any last second ones you want to throw in here, get them in now. We'll probably be wrapping this up in just a moment. You got any other questions, Ricky?
No, I think that's about it. I will say we'll throw out the Quinn McDaniel story real quick. So
Oh God, every time, man.
to both put him on blast real quick. So I don't think you haven't met Quinn yet, have you?
No.
He was up in Eugene last year. Yeah, he's one of Jeremiah's friends because they played together at University of Maine. So we have this inside joke because Cody originally told, who was it? Was it Charlie? Charlie, we did an interview with Charlie Zacconi, and
I wasn't saying he was this short. All right, keep in mind.
Cody compared Quinn, who is I think 5'11", to Jose Altuve, and then we were talking to Jeremiah about it, and then Jeremiah was telling us how Quinn compares himself to Mookie Betts, so he wanted to use that against him to kind of bring him back down to earth a little bit. And then if you see my Instagram handle, I make those little posts, and I did one of you like highlighting certain prospects on the Giants farm. And I did one for Quinn, and I'm like, I'll scope out guys' Instagrams trying to feel for, what kind of music they like. And there is no music on his profile. So I hit up Jeremiah and I asked him, I'm like, what kind of music does Quinn listen to? And he's like, oh, country for sure. And I'm like, all right, anything in particular? And he's like, well, I can give you his walk-up song. And his walk-up song was literally named Bigger Than Me. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Way.
And I totally thought Jeremiah was screwing with me. I mean, you know how he is. He just jokes around a ton. I was like, he's totally trying to screw with me to pick on Quinn.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. In my defense, I just meant the style of his game and also the high sock, like the way he wears his socks. I think make him look smaller than he actually was. But and that Eugene team had kind of a lot of big dudes because there was like moments where he walked by like Bryce Eldridge, who's 6'7", and it's like, okay. I mean, he made everyone look small, but yeah, it was super funny. I in my defense also, is it worse that I compared him to a guy that's like a fringe Hall of Famer, or that Jeremiah said he had the body type of an upside down triangle?
Oh no.
Oh, even worse, Jeremiah's dad said that.
Like
from
the
when they played college ball together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Dorito. Yeah.
I mean, that's a bodybuilder's physique.
Yeah.
Some people love that.
Yeah, he's like if he ever lifted legs, he'd be like a Greek god.
Oh no.
It was hilarious,
so
man.
bad.
So, yeah, good times.
Just remember that for us if you guys cross paths in either Eugene or maybe Richmond down the road. Remember that, and you'll definitely have to bring that up to him. I already told Jeremiah.
Oh, well.
This dude's gonna hate me if he ever comes on here. Like, he's gonna be like, "This is the guy that called me Altuve."
We are trying to get him on here, and I will definitely be bringing that up if he comes on here.
I'll just tell him to fix his socks or his pants. It'll solve the problem. Oh man. But that's awesome. I appreciate everybody that jumped in here. Thank you so much, Zander, for hopping in with us today. This was great. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. We'll definitely be, cutting up a bunch of this and trying to send out as much as we can so people can, see as much of this as they possibly can. But we really appreciate you jumping on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We'll probably have some videos talking about spring training next week come out. We'll have another live show, just so you guys know. Since we did hit 1,500 subscribers, we will be doing the giveaway. Ricky, you have the item. You want to tell them what it is?
Yeah, next week's item will be a Patrick Bailey bobblehead.
Nice. So, yeah, check out the live next Friday. We'll be doing that giveaway then. Hopefully, Dan will probably be joining us again for that. But yeah, once again, thanks, Zander. We'll call it a wrap.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.